So, you're interested in becoming a breathwork facilitator. That is an incredible life choice. Breathwork is the most powerful self-healing modality on the planet, and it is growing 400% year after year because it is just so insanely effective. My assumption is you did breath work and you were like, oh my gosh, this has changed my life. Now all I want to do is simply share it. I went to Bali about 13 years ago, and that's when I first discovered breath work. And the reason why I went there is because I was reading the book Eat, Pray, Love. And Elizabeth Gilbert talks about the part where she went to Bali and she found that medicine man. And so I was like, I'm gonna go do that. I was really struggling at the time with disordered eating and body image issues and chronic anxiety and the rest of it. And meditation just wasn't working for me, no matter how hard I tried and how many hours I sat there. It wasn't my medicine. And so I went to Bali and I found this medicine man, and unfortunately the thing he said to me was like, you need to go meditate. And I'm like, no, I can't meditate. But I thought to myself in that moment, like, okay, I flew 13 hours to get to Bali. I might as well just go try it. Maybe it's different here. And so I found this yoga studio, and they had all these different classes, and there wasn't any meditation class at the time that I was there. I was a little bit late for it. But the next class on the community board was breathwork. And like many people, I was like, wait, what is breathwork? What is that? What does it do? And I just sort of like followed divine intervention, divine timing at that point. And I did my first ever breathwork class. And I was like, this is absolutely incredible, the fact that we can heal our bodies and heal our emotionality and clear our minds, get back into alignment and back into our intuitions using nothing other than our breath. Like, why does not everyone in the planet know about this? And I remember actually going up to one of the teacher at the time, and I was like, breathwork is so incredible. Like, imagine if every single human on the planet knew the power that they had in their bodies that was so accessible through the breath. Like, why does not everyone know about this? And I remember him turning to me at the time, and he's like, well, maybe you're the one to tell them. And it's funny because that was 13 years ago when I didn't plan to do what I do now, which is train people to become facilitators. But obviously there was like a seed that was planted there. I know eventually one day that every single person on the planet will know the power that they have, that we were given as our creator gave us this power, the power of our breath in order to heal our bodies. And so thank you for your interest in bringing this work into the world. It truly, the planet, the consciousness needs it right now. So one of the most important things to consider when choosing somewhere to train is really asking yourself if the place that you choose to train has a awareness around centering your experience as a facilitator. And the reason why this is so important is because you are an embodiment of what you teach, right? So people can only be transformed to the level that we go into our bodies, right? So if we are not embodied in the work, we are going to be just learning something and then regurgitating it. And what really creates sustainable transformations for the clients that you're going to teach is when you are so intimate and so deep with the work. And so choosing a program that really centers your personal transformation and your own embodiment is highly important, because then we just become the vessels. We transmit the energy, we transmit the work through our beingness. And that's so incredibly important, and your clients are going to be able to feel that in you, right? That's one of the biggest things I see between mediocre facilitators and those who are truly masterful in creating deep transformations, is they are speaking from this deeply embodied place. They are coaching from that place, and that energy in and of itself has the magnitude to really create a lot of shifts in people. The second thing is ensure that you choose a school that has a lens on being trauma informed. Breathwork is so incredibly powerful. And we have got to be mindful of our nervous systems as we navigate through the work. And so it's not the most responsible thing to just go as hard and fast as possible and, see aliens in past lives. Like, that's not actually the point. And in fact, transformation, like the impact and the transformation isn't correlated with the intensity. And what I mean by that is, my first ever breathwork class, for instance, was 3 hours long. And it was like the deepest, most like intense, and there was tribal music, and it was freaking insane. Like, it was so intense that for someone who had a long history of trauma, like, that could have actually done more harm than good. And so we have to be really mindful of our trauma response, our nervous systems, not re-traumatizing ourselves or obviously our clients when we train with them. And so choosing a school that is 100% trauma informed, and there is a trauma lens on everything that they choose to teach. Now, asking yourself the question, a lot of people say, but Sam, how do I know if I'm ready to be a facilitator? And honestly, there is no prerequisite for becoming a breathwork facilitator. Like, you don't have to be a life coach or anything, or a yoga teacher. In fact, a lot of people who choose to do our program anyways are yoga teachers who want to add breathwork to add a little bit more depth and another layer to their practice, but you don't have to have that prerequisite. One of the things that I say is, like, really, this answer comes from your own body. Do you feel so aligned with the mission and with the work of breathwork? Is it something that you personally integrate into your life every single day? Something that you see massive shifts in your own world, because it's your passion and your own integration that is going to cultivate the transformations for your clients. Like, you being an embodiment of what you teach and speaking the work and sharing in your excitement for it. That is such an incredible leader and facilitator. And then people are going to be transformed and be inspired by the shifts that you're making in your life. I've been doing breathwork for 13 years. I've been teaching it for about 11 years. And then I've been training people to become facilitators for about 5 years now. So, I mean, I say that to share, like, the work never ends. Like, every single day, in every single way, I am going deeper and deeper into the work. And not only is that inspiring for me as a teacher, but it is inspiring for my students, because they get to see that the work never ends, and the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. Like, this work is inspiring because there is no end, and that can feel a little bit untethering for many people, but for me, it's like the most exciting thing. I'm like, wow, how much more happiness can I welcome into my body, into my system? How much more liberation, how much more fulfillment? And it's just an inspiring journey. And so there's got to be that, like, why, that excitement, that juice, that, like, energy rich place of, like, I am so excited to share this work. A story that I just love sharing is, a couple years ago, I was teaching breathwork at a maximum security prison up in Northern California. And I was a little bit nervous going in there because I had never been in a prison before, obviously. Well, I don't know if that's obvious, but I had never been in a prison before. And I walked in, and there was about 30 men sitting in this circle, and I was about to teach breathwork. And I was feeling a little bit nervous, but I just kind of, like, got into it right away. And I was like guiding these men through. And at first they were kind of skeptical, like, what is this girl going to teach me? And within 5 to 7 minutes, every single person was in tears. There was not a dry eye in the room, including mine. And at the end of the class, this man came up to me. I'll never forget this. He came up to me with his crystal blue eyes, tattoos all over his face, tears down his face. And he just looked at me, and he said, I have never felt my heart before. Like, this was the first time I had ever felt my heart. And he said, if I knew this practice exists, if I did this years ago, I would never be here. I wouldn't be in prison for life. And it just got to my heart, because I'm like, that's what's possible with this work, because it's so immediate, because it's so efficient, because it's so powerful. And so if there's a part of you that feels called to teach this, if there's that energy rich, excited place, step into it, like, if if you're meant to be a healer and be a guide and be a teacher in this world, like, you already have the wisdom in your body. So keep following that. Keep taking your next best step. Pause breathwork. My company has a breathwork facilitator program. And so my invitation for you would be to check it out and feel into it. If your body says yes, you'll figure it out. I love saying, if your body says yes, you'll figure out the rest. When we have that intuitive pull to do something, and it feels like that downstream energy of yes, this feels so exciting to do this. The universe always supports us in bringing that into fruition. And so if that feels like your next best step, I'll pop the application form for the training below. We run this training twice a year and it's 6 months long. It is always such a beautiful journey. It's a personal development journey first before it's a training. You will undergo an incredible up level in your personal development, your spiritual development, your intimacy with breathwork, even if you're new to breathwork, and from there, once you graduate, you can start a business of breathwork, whether you want to do one-to-one breathwork sessions, group sessions, breathwork retreats, whatever it is, it's all available there for you. So thank you for checking out this video. It'd be an honor to mentor you. It'd be an honor to guide you through this work. Again, I'll put the link to apply below, and it would be incredible to have you join us in bringing breathwork to the masses, billions of people over the next little while. And I'm excited to see the impact that can create. So thank you for following your hunches and your intuition. And I'm excited to see you in the next phase. Mwah. Bye for now.